I'm 21 years old and I'm about to get on a one-way plane ticket to leave Canada straight to Thailand.
Canada used to be one of the most attractive places to move to if you're an immigrant. It also was a great place to raise your kids. But why are immigrants now fleeing Canada along with people born in Canada? Let's discuss it in today's video. But before we do, I wanted to say that 87% of you guys are not yet subscribed. So if you are not subscribed yet and you find yourself coming back to watch more content, please hit that subscribe button. And with that being said, let's get into the first video.
Newcomers are fleeing Canada. Watch this. This new report from the ICC shows that economic migrants such as skilled tradespeople and entrepreneurs are the most likely group of newcomers to leave Canada. The report further calls Canada a leaky bucket for its inability to retain high-skilled immigrants, with most of them choosing to leave right when they hit the 5-year mark. So why are so many newcomers moving on from Canada? Well, this person's saying if they have to struggle to buy a house on a 6-figure income, they'd rather go back to their home country where healthcare and infrastructure actually works. With another person saying that Canada is a passport nation. You come here to get your citizenship, then you leave. Currently, the country is in the middle of a record housing deficit. So I want to know what Canada has to change to keep skilled newcomers from fleeing our country. Let me know.
What do you think needs to be done to keep Canada from preventing its brain drain that's been going on for the past 2 decades? I think a lot of it also has to do with the fact that taxes are high. Entrepreneurs, when they get to a certain tax bracket, they realize how much they're actually paying in taxes, and they're not getting much back in return. And because of that, they see greener pastures on the other side. Maybe that other side is the United States. Maybe that's just going back to their own country if they're a skilled immigrant, because housing prices in a lot of other countries that are not part of the developed world, if it's a second world country, you have cheaper housing, and honestly some of the benefits there are not too bad, and a lot of these countries are getting better and better by the decade, and Canada seems to be getting worse by the decade.
The reason why I would be leaving Canada is the weather. I love winter when it's like Christmas, but I mean, like, we have long winters. They're like 6 to 7 months. Second is the cost of living. In Canada, the cost of real estate, food, gas, and etc. Has risen dramatically. Thirdly is healthcare. Many individuals don't have a doctor in Canada, and that's crazy. Fourthly is the high taxes. Fifthly is school system. There's a reason why I'm homeschooling. I do not agree with a lot of things that they're doing.
One of the easiest and biggest reasons to hate Canada is obviously the weather. Now, this is honestly one of the main reasons why we left Canada is for this. We own this home in Naples, Florida. We come down for the winters, and soon we'll be living here full time, which I'll get to in a sec. But man, this is beautiful. Now, this is a bit of an overcast morning, but the weather is so gorgeous all the time. Next, cost of living. We already know that gas is expensive, food is expensive, everything's expensive, but the most important thing that millennials are so upset about is cost of housing. I mean, here's your average detached house in an average city like Waterloo, nothing crazy, not downtown Toronto, not downtown Vancouver, just a regular house in a regular city, almost a fucking $1 million. This is insane. Next up, healthcare. But Matt, the US, it doesn't have healthcare. Dude, you don't have healthcare either. The reality is, like she said, most people don't even have a doctor, but even if you do, and something really bad happens, and you gotta go to the emergency room, you're there for like 12 hours, bleeding out your head, whatever. It's insane. We recently went to emergency where my son slipped, cracked his head, it was bleeding. We waited there for like 8 hours. That's insane. Next up, high taxes. There's no incentive in Canada. We're not creating a competitive environment to really go for it and make a lot of money. For example, if you live in Ontario and you make $150,000, not really that crazy of an income nowadays, but you really go for it and you want to make 150 grand, this is what you're gonna pay. 32.15% of taxes, but ChatGPT is only including the provincial and the federal tax and your CPP. It's not including all of the other hidden taxes that you pay in Canada, like the carbon tax, like sewer tax, property tax, HST on every single other tax. It's a tax on a tax on a tax. Canada's insane. If you're making 150K, you're easily pushing 55-60% of your income is going to taxes. You only have to live on 40% to pay your car payment, to pay your mortgage payment, the insurance on the house and your car, food for yourself and your kids, clothes. Like, dude, what? And last but not least, the school system. Now this is just universal around the world. Now again, this isn't a Canada specific thing, but one of the main reasons for us being an entrepreneur, we travel all the time. We live in Florida for the winter, a little bit in Canada for the summer only, is homeschooling. Homeschooling is really great because you get to teach your kid what you actually want them to learn. Dude, I don't care about his grade 1 English test. I don't care about his 9th grade Pythagorean theorem. Who gives a shit? When was the last time you used Pythagorean theorem? I don't care. I'm teaching him real stuff that matters. How to speak to people, how to be kind, how to be able to speak in public, how to close deals, how to learn about money, how money actually works, so he can live a life like this. That's what I care about as a parent, especially. For example, we travel all the time to Europe in September. Okay, so whenever he wants to go to Paris to see the Eiffel Tower, enchanté mon ami, we're gonna go to Paris and live there for 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You wanna go to Italy to see the Colosseum, to experience pasta and the real pizza. Dude, let's go. We're going to Italy. That's what you can provide your child as an entrepreneur when you understand money, how investing works. You can lead your life. And leading your life in Kingston, Ontario or Toronto, dude, what? No. -40, frozen tundra, everything's so rigid and everybody's pissed off because they're depressed because their life sucks because they live in -40 all year.
It feels like it always goes back to weather at the end of the day. Weather definitely is one of the worst reasons that to be living in Canada in general, but taxes are, I think, a very close second. The amount of taxes that you pay, hidden taxes, he's very correct about that. The hidden taxes you pay, let's say if you own property, right? You're paying property taxes, then you have income taxes, then every time you go to buy anything, you're paying HST, GST, and then there's other taxes as well, like carbon tax, and you have sewer tax as well, which is literally insane. I think that's only in a few cities or a few provinces in the country, but regardless, you're going to keep paying these insane taxes if you live in Canada. And again, you can't do much for half the year. Here in Alberta, it's ridiculous. And when it comes to healthcare, it's another topic that he touched on in this video. Healthcare is brutal. In Toronto, it took us about 2 years to find a family doctor in Toronto. 2 years, and you pay for this free healthcare in taxes, high taxes.
For the people who are tapping out in Canada, I'm curious, where are the greener pastures? It's obviously a critical judgment to pack up your bags and leave your motherland. And sometimes it's not a great idea to make big decisions like this when you're emotional. And I think Canadians, I hate to admit it, but I think a lot of us are quite emotional right now. But it can also be fuel, like when you have a lot of spite, when you have a lot of anger, sometimes you make those big decisions that you would otherwise not make, and it could pay dividends at times. But as messy as Canada is now, where is another country that would actually be better? Like, I love America, and there's a lot of places I love in the world, but are they really better places to live where you can make a decent wage and have like healthcare? And I mean, when you really think about it, where would that place be?
Well, my wife is actually from Brazil, so I've spent some time there, and honestly, Brazil is a great country. I know there's like high crime rates in certain cities, but there's also different areas that you could live in, like Florianopolis, Floripa, that actually have lower crime rates. But again, people are discovering this, so prices now are going up. The last time we went to Brazil, I was surprised at how expensive a lot of things were. Still cheaper than Canada for sure, but there are definitely places people are considering. We were just in Mexico for a trip as well. Now we were in more of a tourist area, so it was a little more expensive, but people are definitely fleeing Canada and living places like this because we would hear so much English just walking in the streets in Mexico. It was actually shocking to hear that much English and that little Spanish, but that's just where we're at. You know, people are definitely looking for other places. Now, I get his point as well, but also people are still fed up. And yes, there's a lot of people making emotional decisions, but some of the decisions they're making are kind of rational as well.
All right, guys, so the reality is in Canada, income tax has become a scam. We should not be taxed for our productivity anymore because right now, productivity is not being rewarded. People are working their balls off, collecting a paycheck, and the government is taking 20 to 30% of it. And what are we getting in return? We have no future. The productive class has no future. The hardworking people have no future here in this country. So why are we paying 20 to 30% of our paychecks to the government when they're not even serving us properly? They're not looking out for us. You know why they're taking the money now, guys? Because we have to pay for the boomers' retirement. We have to pay for the aging in place. We have to pay for the failing healthcare system that we don't even have proper access to. Guys, I'm claiming it right now, guys. Income tax in Canada is a scam and it needs to go away. We need to eliminate income tax for the people and allow the productive people to be rewarded for their productivity again. If we eliminate income tax, we can change the way in which we tax the country. We can increase tax revenues through increasing consumption, right? We can change the way that we tax real estate. We can change the way that we tax underutilized land. We could change the way that we tax people speculating in real estate. We can change the way we tax capital gains. But one thing's for sure, guys, income tax can't be a part of Canada's tax system anymore. It doesn't work. It's holding people back from getting ahead in life. This is not fair. This is unjust. It's a scam, guys. The income tax scam must come to an end. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Should we eliminate the income tax, change the way we tax Canadians, and make Canada great again? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.
He does have a point. Honestly, income taxes are probably one of the worst things about Canada is how high the income taxes are. So we have a photographer that did a few photos for us, some pregnancy photos for my wife, some Christmas photos as well. And she works for herself. And she said at the end of the year when she does her taxes, she's like, am I doing things wrong? Why am I paying so much taxes? Like, she didn't realize how bad the tax situation was in Canada until she really started to work for herself and started to make it a living for herself. And honestly, I told her, this is welcome to Canada. Some people have to find out the hard way, and I think entrepreneurs find out the hard way the most, because when you're not just getting stuff taken off of your paycheck immediately, like, yes, you can look back at that later and say, oh my God, I can't believe how much taxes were taken off of my last paycheck. But when you're working for yourself and you have to pay all that in a lump sum at the end of the year, it feels a lot worse. You're like, whoa, what the heck? $20,000? What? $10,000? Whatever income bracket you're in. It's crazy. Like, it's insane what's happening.
I'm 21 years old and I'm about to get on a one-way plane ticket to leave Canada straight to Thailand. And you may be asking why. There's an abundance of reasons, but right now Canada is headed in a direction that I'm just not a fan of. So there's that. 2, the weather. I am sick and tired of the snow. 3, the food. 4, the people. I could go on and on, but Thailand is an ultimate destination to level up in all aspects of your life, to get that freedom, to just get that sense of peace. People are just so nice and calm and just, they live in the moment over there. They're not so caught up in all this media bullshit. But yeah, I've been able to do this because I've been working on an online business for the past year and a half. It's been nothing but grinding. It's not easy. All these online gurus try to tell you this shit's easy. It's not. It's basically a full-time job, but I'm passionate about it, and I'm here to basically give as much value as I can and show the ins and outs and the entire journey of being an entrepreneur, figuring it out on his own. So yeah, if you want to watch some solo travel in Thailand, make sure you drop your boy a follow. Let's go.
And most of the people who are leaving Canada are entrepreneurs because, again, they realize how much taxes they're paying in Canada and they're not being rewarded for the productivity they're bringing. And the weather is another thing. It feels like it always comes back to weather. This young individual also mentioned weather, and they're not even old enough to really get pissed off about the weather. Like, yeah, when you're young, it kind of sucks. You can't go out and party as much as you'd want to, or go out and meet people and, you know, just be productive outside. But when you get really old and you have to shovel that massive amount of snow that's on your driveway, that could also lead to frustration. In fact, one of the highest ways men pass away in Canada is actually from shoveling snow when they're in their 60s and 70s. Anyways, I hope you learned something from today's video. Leave your thoughts about this video subject down below in the comment section, and also let me know, are you considering leaving Canada? I'll see you in the next video.